Good morning, friends. Good morning. Welcome to My Left Ear. It is Tuesday, March 8th, 22, video 80. So I am Carrie Freeman. I'm the writer, producer, director of My Left Ear. My Left Ear. Haven't had enough coffee this morning. And what we do here is I do political and psychic commentary. I do a little philosophy, spirituality. And what I do when I'm not doing this is I am what I call a change agent. I do therapeutic hypnosis, been doing that for 20 years, and I do psychic coaching. And I help people with writing and performance and creative stuff. And all this information is below. Anything you'd want to know is below, plus my email if you want to contact me for a private session and we can talk. So as everybody says that you tune into, we're like, wow, we have to say this every time. Please subscribe. Please tell your friends who you think might be interested, and like, because it helps us, as you know. And because we're in very trying times right now, it's very important that I say this is for entertainment purposes only. I have to be I am very humbled talking about the invasion of Ukraine. And I'm not really calling it war because it is an invasion of a sovereign country, an innocent sovereign country. So that's the only reason. It certainly looks like war, but I want to make it really clear, and I think you understand. All right, so here's how I want to start today. First of all, the truth is that it's Monday, the 7th. Now, the reason is because my wonderful tutor, Patrick, said, when we meet on Tuesday, I want you to have something that you need to upload, because I have to show you some things. So I'm shooting it this morning. So there's just the truth. Now, so that means yesterday, which was Sunday, I had an experience in my apartment, always near water, this happens, and it just came, my left ear. It indicated to me that something kind of positive was going to happen this week, and I was like, what? But it was very clear. I wasn't conjuring it up, because anything that comes out of the blue, I pay attention to, because that's really authentic. I'm not working it. So the first thing I decided to do this morning was throw runes on that one issue about, I just had my hand in the runes bag, and I was like, I had this hit that something positive was going to happen this week. What can you tell me about it? So very interesting results. So the first rune I got was Berkana. Now, it's actually in the reversed position. And Berkana is growth. Growth. Now, don't be upset that it's in the reverse position. The meaning, what it tells us is that it says you may be, the book says you may be, we may be called upon to fertilize the ground again. I think that's very meaningful. But through correct preparation, growth is assured. A partnership, which is a gift, is at hand in some form. And this is partnership. It does not have a reversal. But it does say, do not collapse into that union. However, that's what it says. Do not collapse into that union. We can't push. And here's a very interesting thing that came right out of my runes book. It says separate and whole beings must maintain their uniqueness. I read a lot into that, but I have to admit, just for myself, not for other readers, that I want something pretty badly. For the Ukrainian people, for the United States, for the world. So I'm very aware of my emotional investment here. So I have to be real about that. However, when it says separate and whole beings must maintain their uniqueness, it indicates to me that Ukraine, through all the destruction, death, devastation, shock, and awe, arises and able to maintain some uniqueness. Hope springs eternal. Now, the last rune of this question about why did I feel something good was the harvest rune. And this is harvest. And again, there's no reverse with harvest. And harvest is about a fertile season. And you've probably heard me talk about it before, 1 year, which sounds disappointing. But think about, if this is in fact, about Ukraine, which I think it is, imagine what they have to rebuild. Imagine, they may have to move from Kyiv to another city to continue operating. We don't know yet. But it says fertile season, it says beneficial outcomes, but we can't push. Just like partnership, we can't push. And it says, to those who have had a long season, a long coming to terms, it offers encouragement. So let's see what shows up between now and the end of the week. When my left ear had this feeling Sunday, I didn't know what to expect when I threw the runes, and I went, oh, the runes heard me. This is an answer. So I'm leaving. I want to try to do some positive things here and keep the integrity. So I said this before, we are watching a sovereign country under siege. And the pictures, stories, images are, well, they kind of defy words because it's so unbelievably heartbreaking. Something comes to mind. There was a picture of an 11-year-old boy in the news, Ukrainian boy, whose both parents couldn't leave Ukraine, and they dropped him at the border with a backpack and a hat and warm clothes and a telephone number, which I think was a Polish number, on his hand. And this boy got taken in immediately because he was alone. And he got rescued by relatives. Beautiful boy, heartwarming story. And I think about maybe an 11-year-old American kid who's like mad because they don't have a PlayStation. He traveled, they said 21 kilometers, and I'm not sure what kilometers are, to be honest with you. I want to own something. That my left ear was wrong about something. Shock and awe. And I do think it has to do with the emotional investment. But here it is. I originally said to you that I thought, my left ear thought, and the runes, Putin would commence an attack and it would be short-lived. Now, even if it gets resolved at the end of this week, and I'm saying if, I don't, it's not short, because the devastation is devastation. It's unbelievable. And the conditions, unbelievable. People freezing, no electricity at night, no water. So it appears my left ear was incorrect. And, this is where, the emotional investment comes in a little bit. But I wanted to own it. I wanted to own it. Now, what's on my mind? What's on my mind is something called Vicarious Ptsd. So I'm really talking to empaths. And I'm going to guess that probably a lot of the people viewing, subscribing to me, are empaths, highly feeling people that feel from a distance. So I know that I travel. there's a name for it. I can't think of it right now. Remote viewing. And I will travel to a story and I'll feel it. And it's really difficult, really difficult. And I've been, up at night with some of the Ukrainian people with this remote empathic thing. And we all, I just want you to know this, we all are capable of experiencing PTSD vicariously. And that would be true of empaths. So I just wanted to, because I do therapy also, I wanted you to be aware of this. You're not crazy. Some of your tools, and I don't mean to oversimplify, but I just want to say a few things. Some of the tools is, please take a break. Take a break from the news. Take a break. Listen to some music. Open a fun book. Sit at a Starbucks and just stare into space. Read positive material. Watch uplifting material. And I highly believe that everybody should be meditating at least 10 minutes a day. And that would be mindful meditation, not listening to a scripted app like Calm. I think they're great. But mindful meditation is what your brain really needs. And it's just following the breath. I think I made a video. I'm going to look it up, and if I did, I'm going to put it in the discussion, in the description section. Okay, hydrate, walk, exercise, get the serotonin going, create good evidence, look for good evidence. Therapy, hypnotherapy would be very helpful. Call me. I'm standing firm, my left ear is standing firm, that we are watching the fall of Vladimir Putin. This is the end. He made a choice. He'd been isolated for a couple of years with COVID. He's paranoid. There's something wrong with him. He's changed. Everybody that knows him says, okay, this is his last hurrah, and but this is the fall. Just don't know when. It could surprise everybody. It really could surprise everybody. I just want to say that. Like 3 or 4 days, we could get some crazy news. And then that war shuts down. That siege, that attack shuts down. If he goes down, the siege stops. I'm looking at my notes here. Last week, the runes said that an outcome has a lot to do with a person's clarity of intention. And I have identified that Zelenskyy has incredible clarity of intention, as do the Ukrainian people. But Putin does not really have that. It's not from the heart. It's just something he wants. He wants to go back to the Soviet Union. He wants to co-opt this land. He wants Ukrainians to be Russians. So he has that passion, but he doesn't have that clarity that Zelenskyy and the Ukrainians have. Will Zelenskyy survive this? Well, I have to tell you, this was part of my thinking about how our heart is involved and how he's captured us as an amazing leader and figure and incredibly brave. I was actually heartened earlier today to hear Milu say that he thinks, yes, he's going to survive it. But we're very emotionally invested. So even reading the tarot and the runes, I think it's a little unknowable. And there is a rune that's unknowable. It is the blank rune, and it came up with Zelenskyy last time. So I'm going to wait to go into that in a few days. I'm just sitting on that. Good evidence is President Zelenskyy is still alive, and 3 assassination attempts have been foiled against him. Foiled. 3. So there are special services of Russians that their whole mission is to get to Ukraine and take him out. We just have to pray. Okay. That's the day I don't want to see, nor do you. So there we are. 98% of the world is with Ukraine. Poland is giving missiles to Ukraine. The Americans are replacing those missiles because Ukraine has pilots that can fly those missiles, and they can start clearing those airways and taking out ground forces, Russian ground forces. There is international solidarity. Germany stepped out. Switzerland shocked everybody. Businesses are cutting ties with Russia. There's a huge list. But what I noticed yesterday is that Starbucks hasn't pulled ties with Russia yet. And I'm like, come on, Starbucks. Coca-Cola has, a list. You might want to look it up. Russia has shut down Facebook and Twitter. They don't want their citizens to know what's going on. They've closed news outlets. And if any Russian news outlet tries to tell the truth, they get thrown in jail. They get a huge, long sentence. So highly fascist activity. And the Russian police are stopping people on the street and checking their cell phones or throwing them into jail if they refuse their cell phones. And there's video of that. Feel lucky we're not there. The Russians are being lied to. Now, they caught a Russian POW. The Ukrainians have a Russian soldier, big burly man, not a young kid. And he spoke to the camera. And I know he wasn't being prompted or manipulated. This was from the heart. And this POW was completely sorrowful, but not an act. He was sorrowful because he had been lied to about why he was coming to Ukraine and fighting. And he talked over and over again about the deep shame he feels. It's just an amazing video. And he's interpreted. He only speaks Russian. So he did not know the truth. And how many of these Russian soldiers have blasted people away, innocent people away, not even military, because they think they know the truth. All right, I'm going to get off that because we're winding up. It's a little bit shorter today. The New York AD, Bragg, who just took over and dropped the legal case in New York about Donald Trump. Well, the minute I read it, I went, oh, something's wrong in Denmark. No. Because also 2 brilliant attorneys quit. They wrote a really long resignation letter all about Trump. He won't share it because it makes him look bad. Because these 2 brilliant attorneys that were brought in, they do forensic accounting, they just left and they wrote this scathing letter, and he won't share the letter. And he says, oh, because I'd be giving out information. No, that's not true, because it makes him look really bad. So I just think this Bragg guy is either terrified and insecure, or he's been threatened, or he's been given money. I think given money maybe is the least possible answer to this thing, but he's going to be investigated because people are up in arms about this. My left ear, weeks ago, I suggested that Merrick Garland may be receiving threats for thinking about indicting Trump. His family, well, they're coming. Yesterday, it came out on Twitter that not all, but some of the GOP are stating if Garland prosecutes, indicts, there will be a major civil war. And this just popped. So this is a big threat. But my left ear thought about this weeks ago, that that's part of what's been going on with Merrick Garland. He's in quite a pickle. Yeah, there we go. I just want to make sure that's what I wanted to complete and say to you. So we've got a little philosophy here today, because in these times, I think a little philosophy is helpful. So in terms of the quotes, I always have trouble pronouncing this Roman philosopher's name, Epictetus. Epictetus, please forgive me, says that the first task in life, the first job of the philosopher is to separate matters into two buckets. One bucket is what's in our control, and the other is what's not in our control. And of course, you know, that's part of this 12-step meetings, if you wonder where 12-step got it. So this exercise, what we call the dichotomy of control, and I'm reading this, is really at the core of Epictetus's teachings. He says, is it up to me or is it not up to me? If it's up to me, it gets my attention, my energy, my focus. If it's not up to me, I try not to think about it. I try not to put energy or emotion towards it. The truth is, so much of what we spend time on is not in our control. Now, that's philosophy, and I'm not in the least bit suggesting anybody goes apathetic on what's going on, because I'm certainly not apathetic. But I do recognize, and I do stop many times during my life and go, you know, you can't control this. This is out of your control. And it really helps to tap down the hysteria and the frustration and just drop into we can't control Vladimir Putin. You know, we can do what we can on the ground. We can help, we can donate, we can volunteer, we can meditate, we can pray, we can write letters. So it's just good to separate that out during the course of your day to just calm the feathers a little bit. And now I'm just going to, well, I thought I was going over, but it was going to be shorter, but evidently it's not. I know people like the stories. So I did have an experience Starbucks last week. I go into Starbucks to write. I mean, seriously write, because if Petey's not there and my phone is turned off, I can really concentrate. So I'm sitting at a high table and I'm and this couple came in and they were really loud, and they kind of were loud right near me, and they were just loud. That's all. They weren't rude especially, but they were loud and it was annoying. And I'm like rolling my eyes and I'm kind of looking like, would you move past me? I can't. And so I didn't have like a great vibe on them, but there was nothing wrong with them. I was just like, God, can you keep it quiet? So they did kind of go and they got their drinks and they kind of moved away from me, and I'm working. Now I see out of the corner of my eye, someone is like pretty much walking towards me. So I look, and it's the woman who's part of this couple that were so loud. And this is kind of really embarrassing, but she approaches me and she says, I just have to tell you, you look so beautiful in that top you're wearing and everything about you. You just stand out. You're just beautiful. And I was like, oh my God. Well, I thanked her profusely. Then she registered as a human being, you know, not the person who was loud 5 minutes before. And it was a lesson for me. Okay, that's why I'm telling you. It was a lesson for me. Like, be careful who you judge, because that was like a joke on me for her to come back and love bomb me. Because I didn't give them dirty looks or anything. I don't do that. I just was like, between me and me, I'm like, oh God, could you quiet down? Thought you'd find a little humor in that. Anyway, as I'm humbled by everything, I say thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be back in much sooner than 7 days, talking to Patrick, my tutor, about twice a week now and going live, blah, blah, blah. So I'm working on it. I'm investing in this, friends. I want you to know that. So here we go. Make peace, make good memories, and I'll see you soon. Breathe and stay grounded. Okay, bye-bye. Let's hope for that good thing to happen this week, right? Let's just hold that. Let's hold that, people. Love you. Bye-bye.